There's a silent epidemic happening right now, and it's not what you think. It's not a disease, but it is plaguing us as our world becomes more isolated. Solitude is abundant, and it can either make you rich or ruin you. The world is more connected than ever before. We can all see what's happening with any of our friends or family in just a second. People constantly share bits and pieces of their lives, whether it's friends cheersing over brunch mimosas or an old classmate getting engaged. We're constantly up to date with what's going on. And not just within our network, but beyond it too. Breaking news travels faster than ever, and everybody brings up the same headlines and topics at the same time. Wars are live streamed from across the world, and while the world's worst is only a swipe away, so are all the people we know, in real life and also digitally. Almost any and everything is connected in the current digital age. So how is it that as we get more and more connected, that we get increasingly more lonely? In 1990, a third of US adults reported having 10 or more close friends, but that number's gone down to only 13% in 2021. While at the same time, the number of people who report having no friends has quadrupled. Clearly, there's been a trend towards loneliness over time. And today, 30% of young adults feel lonely every day or several times a week. 60% of Americans feel lonely on a regular basis, and 73% of Gen Z feels lonely. We obviously have an epidemic on our hands, one that there isn't a vaccine or an obvious cure for. But how did we get here? And why is this trend continuing to get worse? The answer is actually not as simple as you might think. In the modern world, we have a new phenomenon, what I call the illusion of connection. We see what's happening in the world while also gauging the response and reactions to every event at the same time. Why read about the war overseas when I just saw a video of soldiers fighting for their lives? We see what our friends are doing on vacation. Why would I call and ask about how a family camping trip went when I just saw 14 videos that they posted over the weekend? We see the moment so much that it feels like we were there, but we weren't. And our brain knows this. We also aren't engaging or connecting with these people and things in real life anymore. Yet we all feel like we're way more connected because we get all the updates. As a result, people feel that they don't need to see things in person, see family, see friends in person as much anymore, because there's an illusion of connection. And this is the predicament that society faces now. This illusion of connection is creating a reality of increased disconnection, and really, a loneliness pandemic. This solitude can break us. As humans, we need connection, real connection. And the consequences of this can be seen in society
Surgeon
today.
General Vivek Murthy sounded the alarm on the effect chronic loneliness can have on people's health. A report released from his office last spring revealed that social isolation can be as deadly as smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day.
But what if in this loneliness, there's actually a hidden gift? A superpower that has been tapped into by the likes of Leonardo da Vinci, Steve Jobs, Michael Jordan, Marcus Aurelius, and many of the most accomplished humans to ever walk the planet. Loneliness is one of the greatest gifts that a human can receive, but it's also one of the most terrifying things a person can experience, because it can ruin any of us. But how can that be? how is it both? Think of solitude as a two-sided coin, except this isn't left for chance. You can create your own luck by embracing solitude. In 1576, one of history's most important astronomers, Tycho Brahe, embraced solitude in a very unique and impactful way. The Danish astronomer, funded by King Frederick II, went to a private island at the end of the 16th century and built one of the world's most advanced observatories, called Uraniborg. He also built an underground observatory called Stjerneborg. This was extremely odd for the time. It would be like a genius billionaire inventor today going completely off the grid to build their own creative compound or laboratory. Imagine what people would think if Bezos or Zuckerberg created a super lab for quantum physics on some random remote island. It was here, at this island fortress, that Tycho challenged the ancient astronomical schools of thought. He chose this remote island so that he could get rid of external distractions, increase his precision, and not have to compromise on his pursuits and vision. And the result is his work becoming one of the most significant contributions to astrology in history, as the theories that he produced during this time ended up inspiring Kepler's theories of the solar system. Sometimes, to separate ourselves from the status quo, we have to literally remove ourselves from the rest of the world, its opinions, influences, perspectives, and narratives included. As Leonardo da Vinci once said, "If you are alone, you belong entirely to yourself. If you are accompanied by even one companion, you belong only half to yourself, or even less in proportion to the thoughtlessness of his conduct." While isolation can set the table for breakthroughs, as it did with Tycho Brahe, that isn't to say that it also doesn't come with its challenges. It does. We're only human, social creatures by nature, and isolation can feel entrapping, but it's just a feeling. Here's a powerful excerpt from Jiddu Krishnamurti, articulating the beauty that can exist within these moments of isolation.
The word alone means all one, whereas loneliness is complete isolation from everything, sense of complete isolation in which there is no relationship with anything. You're completely lost. And most of us never remain with it, understand it, go into it, but run away from it. That is to look at loneliness and not move away from that.
Many of us feel the pain of loneliness and want to move away from it. Here, Krishnamurti suggests that we take a moment to truly feel and understand it, rather than hide from it, because it offers something to us.
When you have great pleasure, you don't want to move away from it, do you? You don't want to say, you say everything you do to hold it. You live with it. In the same way, to live so completely with that loneliness, without a movement away from it. Living with something which you don't understand, which has got tremendous meaning in one's life. That begins to flower, come out like a beautiful flower and wither away. But if you run away from it or try to force yourself to understand it, go into it, you are destroying the flower. Whereas if you remain with it completely, it is like a thing that flowers and withers away.
Not all flowers are based on just the light. Some thrive on darkness. Psiophyte is the technical term for a plant that thrives in shaded environments. The flower within us that Krishnamurti talks about here is no different. Sometimes the darkness is needed for certain things to bloom. In moments of solitude, we're left with nothing but ourselves and our own thoughts. This silence these moments of nothingness often produce the most. This is what truly fosters the novel ideas and breakthroughs. It's not boredom, it's space. And what seems empty can actually be quite full, because this space enables our imagination to work and fill up the void created in solitude. It's where we forge the aspects of our persona that elevate us above normalcy. And this elevation is what empowers us to become greater. We all know of Kobe as the late, great Laker legend, an inspiration for many, embodying his Mamba mentality, one that emphasizes work, grit, discipline, and sacrifice, but ultimately, solitude and the power of it. Early in his career, in the late 90s, when he was just a young, unproven star in Los Angeles, Lakers legend Magic Johnson said that he didn't think that the duo of Kobe and Shaq would mesh on the court until Kobe spent more time with the team off of the court. In an interview, Kobe admits to being a loner by nature and talks about not wanting to go out to the clubs and be all in the party scene and do anything outside of basketball, even though he was playing for the Lakers in the entertainment capital. His early upbringing in Italy outcasted him as a child. It led to him often being alone, not by choice, but from being a misfit and being one of the few black kids where he lived. But later on, it was this comfort and solitude that allowed him to do the extra workouts, spend time obsessing over new elements of his game, and ultimately helped him win 5 NBA championships, become one of the greatest basketball players of all time, and one of the most loved athletes of any sport ever. The mentality, the Mamba mentality, is something that is birthed out of the solitude required to excel. In Kobe's circumstance, it wasn't by choice that he lived in Italy as a kid, where he didn't have anybody around him that he could relate to or that looked like him. Yet he still channeled this adversity into something that led him to become a great player and an even more important figure for many around the world. Resembling motivation, determination, and ultimately proving what you can do when you apply yourself to your craft. So, how can we turn solitude into our superpower? First, we must embrace the solitude and sit in it, not distract ourselves away from it, not resent it, but feel it and appreciate it. We all want progress in this life, right? Well, much of that progress is in the isolation. It's in the focus that requires a removal of distractions. It's in the space that a decluttered mind can bask in. And those around you may not understand, and you may seem reclusive, but that's okay. Here's an analogy. Have you ever been to a museum and walked past a piece of art and looked at it too close? Sometimes it's hard to understand the art when you're only a few feet away. But take a couple steps back, and all of a sudden the details can be seen. The dots, strokes, they all start to connect, and the art gains a clarity. This is sometimes what we have to do in life as well. With people, things, time, projects. Sometimes the light bulb idea comes in the shower or on a walk. Sometimes we don't appreciate how fun a moment was until we look back on it. And sometimes when we see a person less, we appreciate them even more. In the same way, Solitude provides space, and that space provides clarity.